Hi everyone, my name's Noah, and I'm very excited to be here today to interview Michael Campbell, who is the founder of Glossika, a language learning platform. I'm especially excited for this opportunity as I have been a Glossika user for 10 years, and it's really helped with my journey to learn Mandarin.
Let's do a little segment first in Chinese and see how well your Chinese has come along. 我们知道你学习中文有多久，然后像我们今天有机会可以在台北见面做这个采访，是很不错的。想知道你这个学习中文的过程是怎么样，花了多少时间，然后去哪里学
10年前，我是在美国的大学是读语言学系，然后那个系的要求就是他们说你要把2种语言学好。所以我第一种语言是西班牙语，我学2年，然后2年以后我说好，我要去怎么说要找第2种语言要学。所以那时候就觉得还是我去上中文课吧，因为中文的这个语系跟英文完全不一样，所以就是可以挑战它的哪些字。那些新的语法、新的有声调这样的一个语言，
对，就是还蛮多的挑战。
对，这个那时候我是初学者，对我来说是非常困难的一件事，就是我要学字嘛，有很多字，我不知道要从哪里开始。
那你中文现在已经听起来很流利，所以你回头看，你学习西班牙文跟英文比较起来，会不会感觉很像？
我觉得对啊，现在其实我回去看，就是西班牙语跟英文是比较像，但是中文反而是很不一样的。但是因为我这8年我都在台湾，我大学毕业以后，我就觉得我还是要继续努力的把中文学好，所以我希望我可以就把自己放在那种大家都在讲中文的一个环境。
这个环境是非常重要，没错。对。
So Michael, I'm also curious, how did you take an interest in learning Chinese in the beginning?
You know, like yourself, I think it came down to the same thing. I've always had a tendency to want to learn, at least to understand many different kinds of languages. And I thought, well, I did look at Japanese and Korean and some languages in the beginning. And I thought, well, all these languages, I tend to borrow a lot from Chinese. Maybe I should just learn Chinese first, then I can pick up other languages later much easier. And so that's what I decided to do. And then, not to downplay my interest in Western languages as well. Of course, I had a strong interest there as well. It's just that I thought, well, early in life, I should focus on the things that are harder, that might take more time. I can come back and learn other things later. If things work out well, it'll be easier.
That's a really good point about how Chinese is also very similar to these other languages that took parts of Chinese. You are a polyglot. You know many languages, and something like that to me is mind-boggling for someone that speaks 2 languages fluently. And I'm especially curious, how did you become fascinated by languages in general initially?
Well, I always had a fascination growing up being surrounded by different cultures and languages, and so I think that curiosity just continued to grow. I was really interested in just being able to understand more of what people were saying, and when I heard different languages, different accents, it was just kind of drawn to it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's kind of interesting how they're speaking,
So I know a lot of people are out there, they want to learn a language. They have no idea how to get started. And I was wondering if you had any tips or ideas to share from your experience, how to get started learning a new language.
How to get started learning a new language really comes down to your personal interest and your personal motivations. I mean, why do you want to do it? You must have some specific reason why you're attracted to a specific country or a culture or a language. Maybe it's because of the people that you know. And so I would start with that. What are your motivations? The second thing is you have to consider that if you have choices, like do I want to learn A or B? Or do I want to learn A, B, C, D, or E? Which one of these? And if you have a choice, then I would say focus on what your long-term goals are. And then take a look at the structure of the language, because the structure of the language can often determine your success rate. I would tend to say that the most difficult language, and I've now heard a lot of other people say this as well, is the first language that you learn. So it's kind of like a musical instrument. If you attended some sort of a band class in school and you kind of failed miserably at that instrument, and then you picked up one later in life, you may find a lot of success with it. I think the same is true with languages. You know, I might have failed miserably with French and I just never came back to it later in life. But when I went on to learn Chinese or other languages, I found a lot of success. And so I think, you know, dabble a little bit. And maybe you've already done your first language in school. And so that's a good starting point. And then, you know, maybe after school, after you graduate, you may find an interest in something else. It might be because of your work environment. You have a specific attraction towards one thing or another. Go for it. And then the other thing is, to get started in a language, you have to understand that because of the different structures in the train of thought, the order of how things are expressed, that can really affect your success rate. So, you know, vocabulary and pronunciation aside, a lot of that is going to determine how how fluent you can get in the language.
Wow, that was a really incredible answer. I know it really relates from my learning Chinese as well, and that starting to learn it seemed like an incredible difficulty. But now looking back, if I wanted to learn another language, I think it wouldn't be as difficult.
If you're driving for the first time, you're just learning how to drive, and then somebody's having a conversation with you in the car, you just, don't talk to me. I'm trying to focus on doing this one thing, because it's not completely automated yet, right? But over time, you can very easily have conversations. Turn on the radio, have conversations between people and listen to the radio at the same time and drive. And suddenly you're doing all these multiple things at the same time. But now put somebody in the car and speaking Spanish to you, and then Chinese or French, you're gonna have the same entanglement, right? You're like, wait a minute, I'm trying to drive. And then all of a sudden your first original skill of driving seems to become more difficult. You know, if you go to the gym, they say you shred yourself, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You shred your muscles. And so you're going to do that with your brain when you're jumping between languages. And the more you do that, the more you practice that, things start to become a lot more mellow. You don't have the problem with that freezing up. I think the freezing up can happen when you don't have a lot of real world experience in the language, that sort of cultural fluency per se. But you could actually train yourself to become, you know, pronunciation and the sort of like sentence level fluency, for sure.
I really like that idea of like you're training yourself with all these different languages at the same time. And yeah, at first your brain, I don't know what's going on. And then it's just like working out at the gym. It eventually starts picking it up and
Right.
you get used to it.
Just like we have on the Glossika website, you do reps in your language. And how many reps have you done in a particular language? Then, you know, we don't have like a grading system. Oh, you got, you know, 100% on French or Spanish. But it's like, well, did you do 5,000 reps or 10,000 reps? How many reps have you done in the language? And I think that that's very telling. And it's not just passive reps. It's like, okay, have you actually said that sentence out loud? Have you covered up the text and able to say it from memory, even short-term memory? And I think that that's a very, very important skill to train. There's so many barriers and obstacles that can just force you to quit at any time. You're just like, oh, this is enough. But I think that if you just set out a time every day, whether you're a morning person, I'm going to do this every morning from 6 to 6:30 a.m. or I'm going to do this every evening from 9 to 9:30 p.m. You just set aside a time. It's just like your Chinese. I mean, you're going to be so frustrated, but you just have to keep doing it every day. I'll put a book in the bathroom. Like every day I'll go to the bathroom. Maybe next month I'll say, I don't want to do that language. I'll put another language book in the bathroom, you know.
So when I started learning Chinese, I started using Glossika within 6 months of learning to Chinese.
Okay.
I'd never found any system like this before, and it took my my speaking skills to a level that I didn't think was possible. I was starting to actually use Chinese. So I'm wondering, how did you come up with the idea for Glossika in the first place?
A lot of people have mixed reviews on this. Like, I think that if you're just starting out with a new language, especially you're jumping across language families like what you've done, and it's a new language family that you don't have any experience with, and you know, I think that Glossika is not really intended to be for the absolute beginner. It's like you should at least have something that you already know about this language.
So I remember I started using Glossika, and I would just go to the golf course near my house, and I'm just repeating sentences over and over again very loudly, like 今天天气不错，我的妹妹是护士, this sort of stuff. And I felt like my speaking was improving. I didn't necessarily have the opportunities to speak it though. And I remember one day I met a Taiwanese person back at my university, and she told me she was just getting over a cold. And I immediately, in Chinese, like, 每次换季就很容易生病. The Glossika sentence about like every time the seasons change, it's easy to get sick. And she just looked at me, she's like, are you Taiwanese? You sound Taiwanese. And I was like, whoa, this system works. Like it blew my
I thought
mind.
of something immediately that you could
And
use,
the most ridiculous thing was like, I didn't even think. I mean, I did think. It was just like,
But
that
you can say the whole sentence. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
it rolls off your tongue. And I mean, even if we're not fluent yet in the language, and we have, let's say you've got, you know, this set of like 20 phrases you can say really, really well. You can pass for just like, you know, you could make a video of just going down to the restaurant and ordering food and say, hey, look, I can speak this language, you know? And I think that works for some people, you know? And it's kind of fun because it gives you a little bit of a rush, dopamine rush.
sure.
And then people online are like, whoa, cool. But if you want to go deeper, you know, I think it really requires tens of thousands of reps, thousands of sentences, and make sure that all of the sentences have different kind of structure to them. When we developed Glossika, one of the things that I wanted to focus specifically on was what we call syntactic structure, or the sentence structure. What order all of these things appear in that language. So you'll have things like, you have a theme, which is usually an object. It's usually the object that you're manipulating in the sentence. Like, okay, the light in the bedroom. What can you do to the light? You can turn the light on, and you can turn the light off. And those actual words, on and off, are very abstract in every language. That's not how you say them. That's just English. In some languages, they're going to say, make the light shine. You know, so these are the kinds of things you have to be aware of when you're learning a language. Like, you can't use the verbatim the words on and off. And that's why I said translation has to be, you have to kind of grasp what are the underlying meanings. And it's a very easy example to show. So I hope that this has been very motivating for all of our listeners as well.
Absolutely. I know it's been very inspiring for me as well, especially this idea of, you know, pushing past your boundaries and not setting limits on yourself.
Yeah. Learning foreign languages is a lesson in respect. It's a lesson in becoming aware of, it's respecting other cultures, it's understanding other cultures, being aware of other people's existence, of their human identity here on Earth.
And I know I'm personally inspired right now to just go out there and start learning a smaller language.
Yeah.
And anyway, Michael, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk to me and do this interview.
Yeah,
and I
thank
know
you very
I got
much.
a lot out of it as someone who's been using Glossika a very long time. It's nice to get into the head of the founder. And so thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very
Hope
much.
we can do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Hi, I created Glossika to help you learn a language faster. Be sure to check out our website and download some of the free resources we have available. And you can also sign up and try learning some languages for yourself. You can also download the app that we have available in the App Store. Thanks for watching.